Hey, how's it going? Now, what I'm about to get into is the biggest indicator if somebody's gonna get good with women. Everybody has a certain level of stagnation, a certain level of trajectory, and the single fact, the single thing, if you guys were to do it, would indicate to me very quickly if you're gonna get better with women. Now, funny enough, that thing is the most boring thing you could possibly do when it comes down to it, which oftentimes, is the indication of anybody that succeeds at anything. How much boring bullshit can you get through? But I'll say this, it's writing field reports. Writing it, whether it's like voice, whether it's like saying it on like a voice recorder, whether it's writing it down in a program, whether it's doing it on a video, whether it's, doing it handwritten like I do it, or if you do it on maybe on your laptop, whatever which way, you have to think critically about what you're doing. You have to plan out your success. You have to think about how am I fucking up? How am I doing wrong? Because I'll say this is what everybody gets wrong. They say that practice makes perfect, but that's false. It's perfect practice that makes perfect. It's like doing this correctly. And whenever you're going through something, you're doing it the same way day after day. All you're doing is you're ingraining old habits. You're ingraining the same habits, the same things that held you down, that have made you get the same results that you're getting currently. Like if you're doing the same thing that got you the same results yesterday, how do you think you're gonna improve? And it's really funny too, because like a lot of people get into this mindset, they're like, I'm just gonna go out every day and I'm just gonna approach. I'm just gonna go hit a girl. I'm gonna go talk to a girl. And this is where even the guys that make YouTube channels, these guys that are really popular online right now, like 90% of them suck because they don't do field reports. They get to a certain level and then they're gonna get the audacity to tell a bunch of people what their ceiling is, that it's a numbers game, that's this or it's that. And they never really thought critically about how they can improve. Instead, they just went out and mindlessly approached for a long time. They got from beginner to intermediate, which beginner, intermediate, it's easy as fuck to just not suck so bad. So when you suck a lot and you go out and practice for a while, you get a lot of results, but all of a sudden it gets really tough at a certain point because you're not thinking critically. Like how the fuck do you think you're gonna improve if you're not thinking critically? It's like one of the things that I always get like kind of not abashed, that's the wrong word. It's flabbergasted at the audacity of a lot of people that never really thought this through, and they're so certain about their standing in life. They're so certain that their skill sets could not be surpassed. And it's like, it's as simple as writing, like putting pen to paper, thinking it through. It's not that difficult. A lot of you guys who like you guys don't do this professionally, so I don't hold you guys to the same regards. Like don't fucking worry about this. I'm not like attacking you guys. To be honest, unfortunately, the majority of guys who are putting videos out never mention this because they never fucking do it themselves. Like if you're not, you'd be almost like a hypocrite to like talk about field reports when you're not actually writing field reports yourself. So this is gonna be a video about that specifically. How can you use this to improve your game and get better socially, become more charismatic? This is a huge factor in this. And I'll say this, it's one of those factors that it's like it multiplies your results. So let's say like you don't do this at all. What is effort put into this times 0? It's 0. You're not getting anywhere. If nothing else, you're probably going negative. But if you do it times like 3, 4, 5, like you can go out a lot less as long as you're writing out field reports. If you're going out 1 to 3 times a week and you're writing field reports and writing out like in-depth field reports, really thinking this shit through, it's as good as if you went out every day that week. Like field reports are that important. And if you guys actually take this seriously, you guys actually listen to the notes that I put down, my thought process, my methods for doing field reports, you guys will times your results and get better way fucking faster. With that being said, let's get into the video.
Yeah, I confess, Father, I confess, 'cause I've been living wrong.
Now, first and foremost, starting a new habit is pretty difficult, and a lot of people find it really boring to do field reports. And I was also obsessed with this too, so it was kind of a melding of the two different factors that I love. So I got kind of blessed. I wrote a lot of articles. If you guys like type in like 0 rooster 0, or you type in Denton online, like on the old RST forums, stuff like that, some of my stuff still pops up. I wrote tons of articles and tons of different stuff. I wrote a series called Stories of Love Hitchhiker. They're my field reports back in the day. A lot of them are also taken down now. I'm not gonna say for what, but like a lot of them are kind of eradicated. But I'll say this, I put in the effort. I wrote a lot of field reports. I have probably coming up on like 100 different notebooks that I have currently. They're just filled to the brim with notes. Field reports, like back when I used to work with RSD, I have just notes and notes and notes. And you have to get the habits of doing this. Now, first, when you start developing a new habit, you don't have to go all like above and beyond. Now I'm gonna give you guys like different layers and different like levels of like field reports and templates. But you guys don't want to like have to worry about writing out like pages of like fucking like field reports. Like not yet, not if you don't have the habit built. Like, you guys want to make it really easy for yourself because you want to get the habit of at least showing up. Because once you show up to the habit enough times, eventually then it becomes a part of your character. And once it's part of your character and your ego, then it's easy as all fuck to want to go out and do it because now you have positive reinforcement that this is who I am. I'm a person that takes action and then I think critically. I'm an intelligent human being. And then from there, it's a lot easier to write field reports because now you love writing field reports. It's easy. And not to mention, it's a lot easier to do like all this shit that I'm about to throw at you guys. Like I do like very in-depth field reports. And like, I'm going to break it down to a couple of different pieces. So the first piece is going to be the main basics of field reports, like the main template that you guys should be looking at. And the other ones are going to be very specific types of field reports that help out in very specific situations. Now, when writing a field report, what are you trying to look for? You're trying to look at the little things that you're fucking up in and that you're maybe that's like trying to understand this reality that currently is probably a little bit more obscure to you. That's not so obvious. Now, a lot of you guys, when you guys are trying to improve, you're going through what I call the mist. Now, as you get better, the mist kind of starts dissipating and you have more of a very tacit understanding what's constantly going wrong. Now, like even when I get rejected, like if I have a boot camp with the guy, I always know how I fucked up. I know I fucked up in like at least maybe 3 ways if I did. Now, I also know too if it's not my fault. Now, ultimately too, like if I'm not in a headspace to like flip a girl, that could be misinterpreted as my fault, but I'm still warming up. So it's like it's a myriad of different factors in this. Like sometimes it's your fault, sometimes it's the girl's fault, sometimes you're not in the headspace yet to flip a girl that's in a really bad mood or in a certain headspace. If you guys don't understand this, watch my video on rejections. It explains this really heavily in depth, and 90% of it is stuff that you guys have never heard in other videos before. It's all 100% not 100%, but it's a good majority of my own concepts that I learned from going out so much and writing a lot of field reports. You guys want to learn to prop up your strengths, fix your weaknesses, fix your personality, make it a personality that's going to get you the results that you want. Create a belief system that's actually beneficial as opposed to, maybe like hindering you. Now, a lot of times people will be like, well, that's not true. I can't believe that. I can't believe that I'm perfect with women. Even though the simple belief of actually believing it is going to give you the results you want. Like, why would you not take on, even though it's not true necessarily, like why not suspend reality so you get better results? This is something you guys need to think about too. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna get into the main basics of a field report. What is the main thing you guys should be looking at? If you guys are just starting off a field report, this is the only thing I want you to worry about for right now. At least do this for a couple weeks to a month. 3 things wrong, 3 things right. What are 3 things that you did right in the set, and what are 3 things you need to improve upon, and how can you improve upon them in the next day? Now, from here, pick one of those things that you need to improve upon, and the next day, focus on fixing that. All right, now, like, again, fix each of them in kind, like be like, how could I fix this? How could I fix this? How could I fix this? And then one, single it out, and then think critically, how can I use my practice tomorrow to fix this one thing? Now, do this for a while. You want to build momentum in writing field reports. So you want to make it easy for yourself at first. Then as you got more momentum doing it, then you can start adding more things. Now, if you fall off the horse at any point, it's okay. Falling off the horse is 110% natural. Just make sure you get right the fuck back on. Never give up. So when you fall off the horse, it's getting back on that's the most important thing because it's going to happen. It's inevitable. You just have to make sure, keep it in your mind that I'm just going to get right on and I'm going to get back on the horse. Now, next one is you want to critically think about how would your 10 out of 10 version of yourself handle today differently? How would he handle the approaching the women, talking to strangers? How would he have approached the situation differently? How would he have handled rejection better? How would he have kept the conversation going? What are the mindsets behind this guy? Think about this a lot. This is the next thing that you guys probably start looking at. Now, another thing is you guys want to start thinking it through in chronological order. Thinking it through in chronological order. What happened when you first went out? What was the mindsets? What fucked it up? Did you not approach the first girl because you didn't approach the first girl? Then you didn't approach the second and the third and the fourth, and eventually you just never approached any girl? What was the mindset that stopped you from approaching the girl? Oh, that's a bad mindset. Well, visualize approaching in a better mindset. Did you fuck up verbally? Did you say something that turned the girl off? What are 3 things you could have said that would have actually made the girl into you? Now, make it almost like a flow chart. Like, how did you fuck up? How could you do better? Now, how did you do wrong? How did you do right? What is a really great way that you could have said that would have been better? What are 3 different ways? What is she thinking and what is she feeling at any given point? Where did you lose her? What mindset? What did she think of you? What box did she put you in? Did you say something that maybe made her feel offended? Did you say something that made her feel uncomfortable? Now, focus on this kind of stuff. Try to get into her head. Now, girls, obviously, if you guys don't understand how girls think, watch my previous video on perspectives and videos about women's psychology. They're pretty powerful. If you guys don't understand this, jump back to one of those videos, check that out. All right, from here, I'm gonna get into more specific field reports that are more like targeted and that you don't have to do all the time, but I do them on occasion. And it still helps me out in a massive way, but it's more specific. And they're more for specific like types of situations. Now, the first one is planning the next version of you. The next 10 out of 10 is the next to you version 2.0. Now, from here, you want to look at like think project, like who around you would you want to be? And what is it, the actions that they're taking, the mindsets they have that you can incorporate in yourself to get the same results. Now, if somebody has a certain result, they're doing something actively in the world that's getting that result. Now, you want to look at the things that everybody in that area or that arena is doing similarly. You can also just pick and choose. Sometimes I'll see somebody that has a certain personality trait that I love, especially a celebrity, and I'll start watching them, try to get into their mind about what's causing that mindset. What's the framework of reality that's causing them to do the exact same thing? Because I realize nobody's cut from a different cloth. Everybody's the exact same thing. They're just doing different things that are causing them to get the same outlet, or causing them to get their feedback and their world values given to them. So if I copy that, then I get the same thing they get. So do the same thing. What is the next version of you, 2.0, that's gonna get you what you want? Now, you guys already know my self-audit, so I'm not gonna get into it. I even have a video about it. You guys can check it out on my other channel on King Mentality. I'll leave a link in the comment section below. Now, like I said, I also do articles where I break down a specific concept. Now, I broke down field reports. I literally sat down for a while and I broke down field reports, and I did a bunch of different pages, and I try to break down this concept in a very cohesive way so I can make a video about this. Yeah, you guys need to do the same thing. If there's a concept that you guys are starting to really get curious about, sit down for a while and try to break it down, try to understand it even deeper. I want everything for me to be almost in a mental map for me. So I want it to be not just surface level understood and just be well, he says I'm supposed to do this, so I'm just gonna do it. I want to know why I'm doing it too, because if I know why I have to do something, then I can do it even more exemplimentary. I can do it even better because I know why I'm supposed to do it. Now I can do it for that kind of reason. Like if I shoot a basketball, I know that if I shoot the basketball up, there's supposed to be an arc, but I also know that the arc is supposed to be there because the bigger the arc, the bigger the target. If I'm shooting it straight, the target gets a lot smaller, but if I shoot it more in a bigger angle, it gets bigger. I know this intuitively, so now I can get that. I also know the backspin keeps it because it's going forward. The backspin causes the ball to go backwards, so when it hits the rim, it causes it to come more to a standstill. So instead of bouncing and going forward, now because it has such a good backspin, counteracts the speed of it going forward. This basically knowing why you do something also gives you the buy-in to do it too. Because if you guys hear me say something, a lot of you guys won't do it. Because you're well, all right, well, he says to do it, but ultimately, I don't get why. So I'm just gonna focus on things that he says to but if you know why you're supposed to do it and you know intuitively, then it's a lot easier to have buy-in to fucking do it in the first place. And I get it. I'm the same exact way. I have to understand something for me to do it first. Do the same thing, understand it in a deep way. That's gonna be tenfold easier if we want to do it. All right, now the next one is kind of just a cleaning of mental clutter. Find the little emotions and thought processes and things you're worrying about and get the fuck rid of them. Is there something that's holding you back and kind of parachuting you, like an extra program running in the back of your head? Now, you can do one of two things about this. Now, either one, you can either eradicate it, get rid of it, make it no longer insecurity because now you're not an issue. Let's say you're overweight and you're insecure about it. Just, clean up your diet, start losing weight, you get more secure about it. Or two, start getting into mental models where you stop worrying about it. Stop fucking putting your headspace in a bad area. You gotta do one of the two. Either one, you gotta come to acceptance of it, or two, just get rid of it. Now the next one is formulating canned lines. Now I have multiple canned lines that I use, and I sit down and I come up with them to fix certain situations I've been finding time and time again. So for one example, Australians. I know that Australians are very liberal, and they're very political, and they're very emotional about their politics. So early on, I always mention that I know that Australians always get so uptight about politics. And, honestly, I'm non-political either way. And, everybody always gets blows it out of proportions. And honestly, I could care two fucks. Because I say this now, preemptively, if it ever comes down to it, now I don't have to worry about it anymore. Do the same thing. If you find a situation coming time and time again, come up with some canned lines so you don't have to worry about it anymore. So when it comes around, now it's not an issue anymore. Now, the next one is a narcissistic field report. Now, with this, I rewrite a field report in a narcissistic way so that I can be so I can start popping my confidence, becoming more self-confident. Now, naturally, I'm very perceiving type personality. I always look to multiple different ways to view the world so that I can be more in touch with how reality really works. But ultimately, it's not very helpful for game. What helps for game is being very certain about how the way the world works, whether it's real, whether it's it's real or not. Because honestly, when it comes down to it, in a social situation, it doesn't really matter. Am I really a 12 out of 10? Not really. But if I believe I'm a 12 out of 10, my game gets tenfold better. Like regardless, like if I'm talking to a girl and I think I'm the shit, obviously the girl's gonna like me more. As opposed to I'm like, yeah, I guess, you know, I'm decent. You know, like blah. Like no, fuck. No, I'm the shit. I'm fucking Tarzan. I'm like fucking like Attila the Hun. I'm the best thing you're ever gonna meet in your entire fucking life. That's the personality. It's not even real, but I believe it so that I can get the results that I fucking want. So I make it into a narcissistic field report. So like let's say a girl rejects me and I'm writing it down. I was way too cool for that girl. The reason I got rejected is because I was too fucking cool. Oh, some girl gave me her number. Of course she gave me her fucking number. Like who wouldn't? I'm fucking amazing. I'd fuck me. Like things like this. Like I'd write down this. This is actually where my stories of love hitchhiker even came from to begin with. They were narcissistic field reports, and I'd pull them up so that I could so that I could make myself a false reality of how amazing I am. Because I do this, I get into these like delirious like headspaces where I get on a romp, and my game would be fucking incredible because I was just blind. Like I was like. I had like a rock star kind of like dazzle in my eyes where I was just like, oh, so awesome, oh, so fucking awesome. And by doing these narcissistic field reports, I'd brainwash myself into thinking this. Make my game way fucking better. All right, guys. Now, in closing, I hope you guys realize how important field reports are. I don't make enough videos about this. This is a huge factor whether or not you're going to get good. If you guys don't write field reports, you're never going to like, this is the reason 99% of guys, like even more than 99%, 99.9% of guys that get into this suck. If you do this one thing, this is gonna no longer become an issue for you. You don't have to fucking worry about this anymore. All you have to do is literally every time you go out, put pen to paper. Put pen to paper, it's not that fucking difficult. If you guys are willing to put in the effort, this is something that's gonna maximize results. It's gonna multiply results. And honestly, I wanna see some guys out there that can fucking actually do this shit, that are actually like, whereas I don't feel like such a loner in this. Cause like when I push this stuff so fucking hard and like I have guys that are like, I want some fucking killers in this shit. I want some guys that actually know what they're doing. I want to build back the community. I want some guys that actually are like fucking like having a lot of fun in this. And sometimes it feels like there's like a bunch of guys in and out of the door because they're not getting the results they want. And it's as simple as putting pen to paper. All right, guys, and with that being said, peace out.
Bullshit. Yeah, look at my life, I wish they could study me. The word fan means looking familiar. Know what my own people done to me. Lie my name, put thoughts in my brain. They ain't really had no love for me. Tell the truth, nah, I wasn't ashamed, but I couldn't let them get under me. Fuck them, it don't get no better. I hold my grudges forever. Hatred so long you